Hi and welcome back. Anyway, in the last video I had written out this example in 6/8 time, and we had kind of gone over a bit more, and I did kind of a video introduction on playing in 6/8 time, so hopefully that gave you a little bit of intuition about how we group eighth notes in 6/8. I just kind of had another little aside on it and drew this diagram down here. And also in the last video, I kind of said that you should try to diagram the beats in this yourself before starting this video. So hopefully you've done that, because right now I'm going to put in the beat markings. So remember, even though, and I went over this in the last video, but even though we have this 6 up here, we're only going to number 1 and 2 in this measure, okay? We're not numbering 6 beats in 6/8 time. Okay, we're only going to number beats 1 and beats 2 because we're going to group this into a group of 3 eighth notes. And that's why we said that in 6/8 time, it's not the eighth note that gets the metronome marking. Or I shouldn't say it's not always. It's most often in 6/8 time, the dotted quarter note is going to get the metronome marking. So anyway, with that, let's start putting in our beat numbers. So we start out with the quarter note. And we're going to have 3 eighth notes now per beat. So our quarter note just starts on 1, right there. And then we have 1, 2 eighth notes, and then our third eighth note is right here, okay? So then our second beat is going to start under this quarter rest. So I'm going to get my blue marker out, and hopefully, there we go. So I've got my blue marker. So 2 is going to go under this rest right here because we've got a group of 3 eighth notes under beat 1 right here. We've got 1, 2 with that quarter note, 3 with this eighth note. And so our second beat starts under this quarter rest. And then that is the beat diagram for this measure because we've got 1, 2 eighth notes and our third eighth note right here. Okay? So now onto our next measure, well, we've got definitely beat 1 under this because we don't have any rest in this measure. And our beat 2 is just going to go out in no man's land, okay? Because we don't have any rest, we're just holding. So then that's that measure. Now moving on to this measure. So we've got this dotted quarter rest right here, which starts the measure off. So we're going to start beat 1 right there. And this dotted quarter rest, well, that's the rest equivalent of our dotted quarter note, which is getting the beat, so that totally fills up beat 1. So then beat 2 is going to happen right here with this eighth rest. So I'm going to put in beat 2 right there, okay? And then that's it. We only have 2 beats, and these 2 eighth notes are going to be upbeats, and we're going to diagram our upbeats later. But now we move on to our last measure. And we've got all notes here, so we just have to figure out where each beat starts. So we've got, actually, really simply, 3 eighth notes right here. So we know we start on the first of those. And we know that we have 3 eighth notes per metronome mark, per beat. So we go 1, 2, 3. And then this dotted quarter note happens on beat 2. Okay? So that's our beat analysis. So now I'm going to get out my green pen and just put in our green hours like we normally do. So keep in mind that we've got 2 upbeats per beat now. Instead of, normally we would just have, if we were in 3/4 time or 4/4 time, we would just have 1 upbeat. We would just have downbeat, upbeat, downbeat, upbeat. We could only have one upbeat per beat, I guess. We can only have one upbeat per beat. And in this situation, we actually have 2 upbeats. So we have 1 and instead of just 1 and. Okay? So let's start diagramming. So we start this on 1. And this quarter note takes up this first upbeat, so this eighth note happens on our second upbeat, okay? Now we move on to beat 2, where we've got 2 eighth notes under this rest, and again we have an eighth note on our second upbeat, okay? And then this dotted half note, well, pretty simple. We've got our downbeat on 1, hold through 2, okay? So that's that. Then we've got rest on 1, rest on the downbeat of 2, so we've got no downbeat. But then we've got both upbeats, so we've got 2 upbeats on in this measure right here. And then moving on to our last measure, we've got downbeat on 1, upbeat on the end of 1, upbeat on the of 1. So that's, you'll sometimes hear it referred to that, where we've got 1 and you can see up here we've got downbeat on 1, upbeat on the and of 1, because this is the and of 1, this middle eighth note, and then upbeat on the of 1, because this last eighth note on 1 is the of 1. So 1 and then we've just got a downbeat on 2. Okay, and that's our diagram. So let's get out our metronome and just try this out. So we've got our metronome, we've got it all programmed with 50 beats per minute. So let's start this out. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, go. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Okay? And let me actually, I forgot to put in, here, let me just put in real quick a final bar line. Might be a little, anyway, final bar line right there. Okay, one more time. Let's do this on our 1 and numbers now. 1, 2, 3, 1, sorry. It should say 1 and 1 and 2 and 1 1 and 1 and 2. Okay? Let me do that one more time. 1 1 and 1 and 2. Okay? So just the same way back in our old examples we would say, we would keep saying 1 and 2 and. Now we're going to just add in an here. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and okay? And that's just a little helpful device to kind of help you keep your place when you're reading these rhythmic examples. So anyway, that's probably enough for this one video. In the next video, we're going to keep using this example. I want to show you one other thing with this example in the next video, and then we'll move on to something different. But anyway, hopefully you're finding these videos informative, and as always, please leave me comments or shoot me an email to c.mark.halberstadt@gmail.com and let me know how you think I'm doing. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.